Imagine a virus that quietly drifted from the forests of Africa into human populations, hiding silently for decades before erupting into one of the greatest global health crises of modern times. A virus that toppled assumptions about medicine, exposed social taboos, triggered global panic, redefined public health, and reshaped entire societies. When you grasp the full scope of HIV and AIDS, its origins, its journey, its devastation, you begin to see human history in a new light. One where biology, colonialism, human behavior, prejudice, despair, and hope converge. Stick with me, because by the end you'll understand not just what HIV/AIDS is, but why it changed the world, and what lessons humanity still needs to learn. HIV did not emerge in a lab or as a sudden mutation in modern cities. Its roots trace back to non-human primates in West-Central Africa. The virus we now call HIV, particularly the dominant form HIV-1, descended from a close relative in chimpanzees, a virus known as SIV, simian immunodeficiency virus, which adapted to humans, likely through direct contact with bushmeat or blood when chimpanzees were hunted and butchered. Genetic studies suggest that the jump from chimpanzees to humans probably occurred in the early 20th century. What began as isolated zoonotic spillover eventually spread quietly across communities, decades before the first cases caught the attention of global medicine. This origin matters, because it reminds us that many human diseases are tied deeply to the way humans interact with ecosystems and wildlife. For decades, HIV circulated silently. It wasn't until 1981 that the world first registered a pattern. In the United States, doctors reported several unusual cases of rare infections, a rare pneumonia, pneumocystis carinii, cancers, and immunodeficiency among previously healthy young men. In 1982, the term AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, was officially adopted. Then in 1983, scientists identified a new virus, which by 1986 was officially named HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, as the causal agent of AIDS. From that point, everything changed. Public health agencies began to understand HIV as a viral threat, one that could spread beyond stereotypes and across continents. HIV attacks the body's immune system by targeting key immune cells that help fight infection. Over time, as the virus destroys more of these cells, the body becomes progressively vulnerable. Without treatment, what begins as silent infection can evolve into full-blown AIDS, leaving the person exposed to opportunistic infections or diseases which a healthy immune system would normally control. In early stages, many people may not show symptoms or display only mild flu-like illness. In advanced stages, the consequences can be severe infections, cancers, wasting, prolonged illness or death. What this biological mechanism teaches us, and what history buffs should note, is that diseases like HIV/AIDS are not sudden disasters but long, often hidden processes, shaped by biology, human behavior, social context, medical knowledge, and time. At first, HIV and AIDS was a death sentence, but over decades, science and public health efforts really changed the story. By the mid-1980s, blood testing for HIV became possible, allowing for detection, screening, and prevention of transmission through blood supplies. Then medicine developed antiretroviral therapy, or ART, a treatment that suppresses the virus, reduces its presence in the body, and helps the immune system recover. For many people living with HIV, ART transformed AIDS from a fatal condition into a manageable chronic illness. They can live long, productive lives, a powerful demonstration of human resilience and scientific progress. From a historical perspective, this transformation of HIV and AIDS, from mystery horror to treatable disease, shows the dynamic interplay between biology, medicine, society, and human will. HIV and AIDS forced societies to confront uncomfortable truths about sexuality, prejudice, access to healthcare, inequality, and stigma. The early years of the epidemic were marked by fear, discrimination, misunderstanding, but also activism, compassion, and mobilization. Globally, HIV and AIDS reshaped public health infrastructure, medical research priorities, funding, education, and preventive strategies. It influenced migration patterns, demographic changes, family structures, and international aid policies, particularly in regions most affected, such as sub-Saharan Africa. For anyone studying human societies and history, HIV and AIDS is a major chapter. It encapsulates how a disease can alter the course of entire nations, challenge social norms, spark global solidarity, and force humanity to evolve in science, empathy, and policy. What every serious history or survival-minded researcher should take from the HIV and AIDS saga. First, treat disease not as isolated events but as processes. Understand origins, context, vectors, social, environmental, and behavioral. For example, tracing how HIV moved from primates to humans, how colonization, urbanization, migration, and social disruption contributed to its spread. Second, combine biological knowledge with social insight. Understanding how the immune system works helps, but without acknowledging stigma, inequality, poverty, and lack of access to medicine, the human cost remains high. As a researcher, you must look at both. Third, prevention, early detection, and treatment matter. For individuals, testing, safe practices, access to treatment can change lives. For societies, robust public health infrastructure, education, and access to therapy can turn epidemics into manageable conditions. Lastly, remember that history is still unfolding. HIV and AIDS is not ancient history. It remains a global challenge. Studying it is not just academic, it's practical, moral, and necessary for future preparedness. HIV and AIDS are not just diseases. They are one of the most profound human stories of the late 20th and early 21st century, an epic of zoonosis, ignorance, fear, activism, science, tragedy, survival, and hope. Understanding HIV and AIDS, their origins, biology, social impact, and response is essential for anyone who wants to grasp modern human history, global health, and the resilience of societies. If you found this guide valuable and want more deep dive content on history, science, human resilience, and survival-aware context, make sure to subscribe for more. Share this with fellow history buffs, researchers, documentary fans, and anyone who wants to understand how our world was shaped not just by wars or politics, but by viruses and human response.